The only thing you have to do really for your business to get to the next level, to double your business, you only have to make a small tweak, small adjustment. But you can't wish for the competition or the market to be easier for you. You have to get better. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo, and I got a lovely topic to talk about today. It's about reinventing yourself, right? Will you be ready when opportunity knocks? Now, this is a couple concepts that are just convoluted together, and I'm hoping I'm able to convey this properly because the thoughts that are going through my mind are just intense about the whole concept of reinventing yourself. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and check in. And good morning to you, Isabel. Good morning, Michelle, Adriana, Claudia. Good morning, Ruby. Good morning. Now, reinventing yourself, it sounds pretty easy, right? You're like, okay, if I want to become a great business owner, then I just simply need to become that. But I think there's a lot of things that keep us from actually producing at the level we want to. And it's the person that we were. It's the people around us. It's all these thoughts of all the years of experience, all the years of just going through life that determine where exactly we're going to be at. But there was a very interesting lesson that I found watching the movie Joker. Who's seen that movie, the Joker movie? I found it very, very interesting because here was a man, and it's a dark example, but I think it ties into all of us, right? Here's a man that wasn't content where he was at, and it felt like the more he thought about his situation, the darker things got. And there was a moment in the movie where all of a sudden he realized that he can be this other person. All of a sudden, like, things just changed. Now, for him, it was a dark moment that, ended up changing everything for him. But I think that's all it takes for us to become those great business people. It's for us to believe it first and foremost. And we set targets here every 90 days to try to get you into that mindset of like, hey, you can produce more, you can become more. And those of you that see that as the forefront of the possibilities are able to see that when it comes to your production numbers, to your lifestyle, to your health, to your marriage. But those that kind of believe it, but are more focused on the situations that are going on right now in their lives, where it's lack of money, right? Not enough leads. Things are not going so well at home. Kids are not listening. The more we focus there, it seems like nothing really changes, right? Because although we say we want all these great things, our focus is completely somewhere else. And understanding that wherever we want to go, if it's a new level of income, if you want to, start producing from $5,000 a month to $20,000 a month, it's going to require you to reinvent yourself. That means that it's going to push you to areas that are very, very uncomfortable. And here's the thing. I saw a quote that really put it all together for me. And it's from an author. His name is Robert Greene. Some of you have probably read his books. But one of his most powerful books is 48 Laws of Power. And there's a quote in here that says, "Do not accept the roles society forces on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience." I'm going to read that again. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate dramatic devices into your public gesture and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. And this is a sort of permission from yourself, right? Because our entire lives, we've been molded to become a certain way, to conform to what others will be the attributes that they will accept you. So all of a sudden, when you start stepping out of the norm, it gets a little uncomfortable. But that's the whole process of reinventing yourself. That is the only way you'll be able to really separate yourself from the masses. And it's a permission type of situation where you just have to proclaim it. I will be different moving forward. And it's a bold statement for some of us. For me, like when I read that quote, I started thinking, wow, I really focused on changing and recreating myself by creating a new identity. One that commands attention and never bores the audience. Like when I started growing this beard, like it falls right into the line of that, right? And once I started just harnessing the power that I have, right? And my identity, this is the way I want to appear. When I embraced that, it seems like every aspect of my life started to elevate to a new level. When the character in Joker embraced that part of him, that crazy side of him, the one he was trying to push away for so many years, it seemed like he created a happiness for himself. Now, it was, again, it's a dark example, but what I'm saying is, like, lean into who you truly are without having to think that you have to conform to what others must think of you. So as I start reading this quote again, I'm like, oh, the beard. And then now this whole process with my tattoo, make it very visible. I could easily put it on my chest or on my back, but I wanted to create this identity without even knowing it. Once I read this, I was like, holy shit, no wonder my life is becoming powerful, because I'm leaning into my identity. I'm leaning into the person that I know I am, unapologetically. And some of you are still holding back. Some of you are not in that place where you can fully flourish because you continue to live within the parameters of what others think you should be. But imagine living boldly and loudly in everything you do. I think that's a powerful way to live, to be able to convey what you think, to be able to believe the words that come out of your mouth every single day will draw people to you. But going to that place, the reinvention process is a new level. This weekend, my daughter, and I've told you where she's been. She made the. I was listening to a podcast this morning, the Badass Agents podcast, and just a few months ago, I was telling a story about how excited we were for my daughter to have the possibility of making the varsity team, and we were excited, we were nervous. And she ends up making the varsity team. And we're all excited. We're like, yes, all right, finally. I mean, this is good. It's something she's been working towards. It's going to happen for her, right? Then we realized, well, making the varsity team is not just one small step. The real issues, the real challenges came thereafter. Because now she was at a new level. New levels, playing with stronger, taller, more powerful girls, more experienced girls. So all of a sudden, all the ambitions and all the excitement now turned into nervousness, now turned into doubt. Can I really play at this level? Can I continue to develop my skill sets to even compete? And guess what? She was in her head. And some of you, as you start to reinvent yourself, you're like, okay, I started closing 2 transactions per month. But now are very uncomfortable and trying to push for 4 or 6, which could completely transform your financial situation, right? Because at that level, it takes more challenges. It's going to take a better business person, a better marketer, a business person that needs systems and processes in order to maintain that. So some of you are like, no, I'll stick with my 2 a month. I can get all my bills paid. I'm good. Because it's scarier, right, to go to the 3 and 4 because it's going to require so much more of you. It's going to require a greater you. And when you try and you still get the same results, well, sometimes it becomes discouraging. For Abigail, she was like out there and she just couldn't get on any playing time. It was tough. Here's a little girl that's used to be able to compete at a high level when it's people within her age group. But as soon as another age group comes through, right? In club volleyball, you're restricted to your age group. So it's 14 and under, 15 and under, 13. You play with your age group. But in high school, it's like girls that are about to turn 18 are on your team. So here's this 14-year-old girl, very unassuming. Maybe you're unassuming in your business, right? Almost like, well, where are your skill sets? Where's your marketing? So you're coming into this game, or maybe you've been in this game for quite a few years, but a lot of people just see you as unassuming, as a non-threat. Listen, I would take that to my advantage as a non-threat. Because when you reinvent yourself and you're able to market loudly, unapologetically, and be confident in your skill sets, you'll be taking up somebody else's market share. Abigail's a very unassuming little girl. She's only 5'5", just crossing 100 pounds, not athletically, physically gifted by any means. She's very fast and very athletic, but nothing physical about her that will separate her right away. When you look at her, you would probably pass her by. As you see all these giants around her, girls that are 6'3", very unassuming. And she could have stayed in that role and said, okay, society sees me as unassuming. The players on this team see me as unassuming. Or I could proclaim who I am. I could believe in myself. She faced many dark moments during that reinvention process. She had to reinvent herself from a star at a 14-year-old to be a star of a high school team. There's a metamorphosis that happens there. But there's also a lot of dark that occurs during that time frame. When you reinvent yourself, it's not just one day I proclaim I'm going to be a great realtor and all of a sudden it comes to you. There's a process there where you have to put in the reps to hone in on your skill sets, on your mindset, on your systems and processes, on your ability to communicate. Or you can just accept your role. You're just an average agent. She had a choice to accept her role as a bench warmer. Hey, it's great, Abigail. She could have convinced herself, at least I'm on the varsity team. But she knows she's better than that. She knows she's put in way too much to just sit on the bench. She sacrificed way too much to be a bench warmer. And you've done the same. To be an average agent, with all you sacrificed, all the pressures, just to be average? And here's what you need to do. And I'm trying to stay away from the term I always use. Here's what I want you to think about. You can accept the role you're currently in. Or you can understand that it's only a matter of time before opportunity presents itself. And when it does, you'll be ready to strike, and you'll strike hard. Abigail went through her dark moments, and as a parent, it's hard to see that. To go to a game and not to see my daughter even get 1 minute on the court and still try to give her the wisdom, the right words to say to her, when all she did was sit on a bench. And for many of you, as you're struggling financially and you come to me like, AZ, nothing's working. It's hard. It's hard to hear that. And it's hard to make you believe what I'm saying, that it's only a matter of time if you continue to put in the work, the reps. All I can do with Abigail during that time was to encourage her, to remind her how great she is, and to remind her that if she wants to become this player, she has to reinvent herself. She has to proclaim and see herself greater than what everyone else is seeing her. Because others were just looking at her as unassuming. And many people are looking at you as you're unassuming, even your own family. Because you refuse to take a stand for yourself. You refuse to continue to do the things you said you were going to do. So you're just unassuming. The competition doesn't really see you as a threat. Your family really doesn't, think that you're going to make it. You say all these great things, but you refuse to continue to navigate through the dark. Abigail sat there, game after game, on the bench. But she just didn't sit there. Although her thoughts were dark, she battled them on a consistent basis. She's like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to see myself in that place. I see myself on the court. And those were some of the conversations her and I had. Because for a long time, it was just getting on the varsity team, but we didn't see beyond that. And some of you are just, I just want to make a living in real estate. But what is beyond that? Maybe prosperity is beyond that. Happiness, fulfillment. So she started looking beyond that. She started playing very, very hard during practice. Started asking the right questions to the people that have been there before, her coaches, college players. How can I improve? What can I do? And then she did it. And when she was on the bench, she cheered on her team. And as you're not getting the results right now, I want you to cheer on those that are actually getting it because guess what? They were probably in the same place you were on how to grow my business, how to continue to expand and scale it. And they found a way. So as you're sitting on the bench right now, I want you to cheer for others and not have the competition be damaging to your success because you're focused on all the great things they have. Have it serve as an inspiration, or else it will be the detriment of your business. Abigail could have sat there jealous about others, feeling entitled that she's worked harder than others. Or she could have refocused on herself and understanding that in order to be on the floor, she has to reinvent herself. It's a new level. She cannot be the same person she was if she wants to be on the court. It's not good enough. She worked hard. She reinforced her mindset, reminded her of all the reps she's done over the years. She's been playing since she was like 7 years old. She's 14 now. About to turn 15 in a few months. She had to remind herself. And here's the thing she saw as well. She saw herself on the court. She saw herself being able to pass these balls that these big 6'3" girls are hitting towards her without being scared. That was the biggest thing. Realizing that the competition was much greater than what she anticipated. As these 17-year-olds are spiking these balls, 6'3" girls, towards this 5'5", 100-pounder. Ball's got to be going nearly 100 miles an hour. I swear those things are fast. Realizing that the competition is stiff and that it's harder, but it doesn't mean you wish it was easier. You must get better. She got better. But her skill sets were always there. She just needed to get her mind better. She needed to realize she's been there before. She just has to make a few tweaks and adjustments. The only thing you have to do really for your business to get to the next level, to double your business, you only have to make a small tweak, small adjustment. But you can't wish for the competition or the market to be easier for you. You have to get better. This weekend, one of the major tournaments, the Nike tournament, Abigail started all games as a starting libero, freshman libero. And she killed it. I'm so proud of that little girl. She absolutely killed it. All she was lacking was her confidence. She forgot it when she entered a new level. She forgot how great she is, how many reps she's put in. And once she aligned her confidence with her skill set, it was an unbelievable thing to watch. I was so proud of her sitting in the stands. There was one particular player on an opposing team. She was literally the biggest girl I've ever seen in my life. I've seen tall girls. But this girl was not only tall, she was big. Like 6'3", maybe 180 pounds. Like no joke. Big girl. Strong. It was almost like Goliath and David, right? This girl was spiking him hard. And Abigail didn't waver. She was passing these balls. She didn't get intimidated anymore because she honed in to who she was. And I need you to do the same thing. You need to remind yourself all the reps you've put in, all the relationships you've built throughout the years, that now it's time to get to that next level. Not to be afraid to ask, not to be afraid to lean in, but to understand that you're valuable to the team, to your family's team. And it is your responsibility to ask for the referrals. It is your responsibility to go out and do the open houses and ask for contact information. Simple things like this. You must ask. You must see yourself in this game. It was incredible to watch. Like I said, it was awesome to see her on the court. It was awesome to see this little unassuming girl just dominate. They ended up getting second place for the entire tournament, and just very proud. And guess what? She had to go through this dark place of doubting herself, of like realizing she may not get the playing time. But when the opportunity knocked, when she was put into the game, if she would have had these thoughts as the forefront, she would never, ever have delivered the way she did. So let's focus on our thoughts today. Are they more focused on what you don't have versus the work that needs to be done and the opportunities that fall in front of you? Because if the focus is there of lack of money, lack of leads, you'll get more of that. But if you understand, right now I'm just on the bench, but I'm in the game. You're on varsity right now, but you're way down the line right now. And even if you've been like productive for many years, you still have a responsibility to continue to grow your business and not just see it as a living, but as a way of life. So how are you going to reinvent yourself? What proclamations are you going to make? How are you going to become a real player in this game of real estate? It's going to require you to step outside your comfort zone. It's going to require you to face more pain before you realize the fruits. But this is where you need to lean in. You're greater than this. You're not just a bench warmer. You're not just an average agent. You didn't get into this game to live an average life. But you have to see yourself there. You have to reinvent yourself for the new level. So if you're a $5 million producer trying to do 10, guess what? As a $5 million producer, you're not good enough right now to be a $10 million producer. But it doesn't mean you're not capable of it. But it's going to require you to sit on the bench for a few months, to reassess your skill sets, to reassess your actions, and then take the appropriate measures to align yourself with that $10 million production. All right, I'd like to get some feedback from you. In the meantime, good morning, Olivia. Good morning, Nick, Susan. Good morning, Cindy, Wendy, Sharon. Live out loud. I love that. Isn't that just a powerful way to do that? It's such a great quote as well. And do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Amazing, right? We got Gabe, good morning. Patrick, good morning. Hey, dude, Patrick, I'm proud of you. Patrick, if you would, and I hope you allow me to share this, but Patrick, faced his fair share of obstacles just a couple months ago. And he could have subdued himself into believing that will always struggle in his business, or he can take the appropriate measures on the bench to hopefully become a player. He has over $1 million in real estate transactions in escrow in less than 45 to 60 days. Completely changed the trajectory of his business. But if you continue to believe that that's all he'll ever be, he would never have gotten this. He had to see himself on the court. He had to see himself in the game. He did the reps when it didn't really matter. Coach wasn't even looking at her, right? Most of the time as she was, trying to impress them to get some playing time. At least she thought she wasn't. So Patrick, good job. And this is just the beginning for you. Omar, good morning. Carla, it was scary to watch. Abigail was her target. Smallest player on the court. This 6'3" girl just slamming them towards her. Beautiful sight. And maybe your Goliath is lack of leads, is lack of action, lack of marketing. Attack it head on. Stand up. Rudy, double down on yourself when the odds seem like they're stacked against you. So many amazing stories. So many amazing stories that I can tell of all the agents that share their stories with me. And it really comes down to that, understanding that you don't have to accept the current role as an average agent, as a struggling agent, as a rookie agent. I love it. Why not be the best? Guys, I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. It's a new level. It's a new game. Let's lean in. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.